Hey, what's up YouTube? In this video, I'm going to be showing you how to make another YouTuber statue. This time, it's going to be the Diamond Minecart, and if you want to make him, here's what you're going to need. You're going to need brown wool, dark green, dark blue. You will also need sandstone, block of gold, orange, yellow, and black. He actually uses a fair few more colours, but we'll cross that bridge when we come to it. So once you've got your colours and once you've figured out where you want to make him, I'm going to make him right here. You're going to want to start off with 8 brown wool in a row on the floor. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. And once you've done that, you're going to want to stack 2 more rows of brown on top of your row of brown. So 1, 2, and 1 and 2. I like to mark them out before I fill them in. So what you should have so far is 3 rows of brown. And on top of that, you're going to want to do 3 rows of dark blue. So 1, 2, 3, and then 1, 2, and 3. So what we should have so far is 3 rows of brown and 3 rows of dark blue. And here's where things start getting a little trickier. So what I'm going to do for this next row is I'm going to be building this from left to right, and I'm just going to be calling out the colours. So from the left side over to the right, 1 brown, 1 yellow, 1 orange, 2 brown, 1 orange, 1 yellow, and 1 brown. Kind of looks like a pair of eyes, that row. Maybe I'm just seeing things. So that's what you want to have for that row. The next row is a little simpler. So what you want to do for the next row, where you placed oranges on the previous row, you now want to place gold on the next. So just throw gold on top of the orange. And then on top of the yellow, you want to place yellow. And on top of the brown blocks, or aka everywhere else, you just want to fill the rest of the row in with blue. So you want to have something that looks a little like that. That really does look like a pair of eyes now. Maybe I'm just insane, it's a possibility. So that's what you want to have so far. Pause that if necessary. Let's move on. So what you want to do now is 4 full rows of dark blue. So 1, 2, 3, 4, and 1, 2, 3, 4. And that, or those, are the Diamond Minecart's legs in their entirety. So you want to make sure that you've got those exactly right. Again, pause this if necessary, and let's continue. So moving on to the torso, what you're going to want to do for this next row is you're going to want to do 2 brown wool coming in towards the center from each side, like that, leaving the 4 blocks in the middle empty. And what you're going to want to do for those is just fill them in with dark green wool, like so. Now, what we're going to be doing for the next row is the left center block, so this block here, you're going to want to throw an orange on top, and the right center block you're going to want to fill in with yellow, like that. And then what you want to do, either side of your orange and yellow, is just place a single dark green, and then you just want to fill the rest of the row in with brown, like so. Now, what you want to do, on top of the brown wool for the next row, you just want to place black, and then you can fill the rest of the row in with dark green, giving you Diamond Minecart's belt, if you can see that. Now, what you want to do for the next row is the 2 middle blocks want to be dark green, and then the rest of the row can be filled in with black. So you want to have something that looks like that. Now, what you want to do for the next 2 rows is 2 whole rows of black. So 1, 2, and then fill those in, like so. And now, what we're going to be doing from here is a little unorthodox. I'm going to be building this a little differently to how I would usually build my statues. I usually like to do it row by row, but I feel as though this statue lends itself to this. So what you want to do on the next row, the left middle block, you want to throw a green on top, and the right middle block you want to fill in with black. And now what you want to do is you want to do 5 whole rows of green, except on top of those 2 blocks. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So you have something that looks like that. It kind of looks like a tie. And now what you want to do, from the top of your green pillar that you've just made, you're going to want to extend it out by 2 each side to give you a T shape. And then what you want to do, you want to extend out the green T by one each side with the black. So it is as wide as the torso now. So you want to have something that looks like that. And the reason that I chuckled green T, you see the green T, yeah, okay. So pause that if necessary. But what we can do now is we can just raise up the left and right side until it reaches the ends of the green T, like that. And then we can fill the middle sections in with black. And then, once we've done that, we actually have the whole torso completed. So that's the whole torso. Pause that if necessary. Make sure you've done that right. And here is the whole thing all together. Even the chicken is Myron. Look at him. No, he's not. Not anymore. Or is that a duck? That's unimportant, but that's what you want to have so far. Let's continue. So what we're going to do now are the arms. I'll be starting with the right arm, but before we do that, we're going to need to grab a couple of colours. So I suggest storing your yellow, orange and gold block, and I would suggest pulling out dark grey, light grey and white wool. And what you're going to want to do is you're going to want to come down to where the torso starts, which is the first row of brown after the lengthy dark blue rows. And you're going to want to extend out the first row of the brown wool either side of the torso by 4 with the sandstone. So 1, 2, 3, 4. And I don't know why, but I always like to do both sides at the same time when it comes to just doing like the first row. I don't know why. I don't know why it happens that way. And then we're going to be building up the right arm first. What you want to do now is you want to fill the 2 middle blocks of the hand in, or of the next row of the arm in, I should say, with light grey. And then you want to do white for the rest of the row. Then the next row wants to be entirely dark grey. Then the next 3 rows want to be black, so got those marked out, 1, 2 and 3. Then the next row wants to be brown, and then every row after that just wants to be black. And again, I like marking things out, so you just have to just build up the black until it reaches the top of the torso to form the shoulder, and you should be left with a little something that looks like that. So pause that if necessary. That's what the arm looks like. I'm not going to be rushing through the next arm, but I'm going to be doing it a little faster. So again, pause that if necessary, make sure you've got that right, and the next arm should be a breeze. So over to here. On top of the sandstone, 2 light grey in the middle, white either side, then an entire row of dark grey, then 3 rows of black, oops, 2 and 3, then 1 row of brown, and then the rest is black. It comes up, forms a shoulder, and we are good to go. And that is what you should be left with. It's getting a little dark, but you should be able to see just fine. So pause that if necessary. Make sure that you've got that right. And I will also give you a whole view. Again, I know it's getting slightly dark, but you should still be able to see it good enough. I will give you a bit of a glimpse at it when the light's back up. And on that note, I will cut this out and I will be back when it's light again. So it might be a little easier to see now that it's a bit lighter. So again, pause if necessary. Make sure yours looks like that and we can move on. So it is time to turn this 3D, and what you want to do is come to the bottom of the feet, look at it sideways on like this, and with your brown wool from the edge of the foot, you're going to want to bring the statue back by 3 rows. So 1, 2, 3, and you're going to want to do the same thing on the other side as well. So 1, 2, 3, and then what you want to do is you want to connect those 2 rows of brown that you've just made together at the back. So you want to have something that looks a little like this. And what you've essentially made is a platform of which we will build the back of the diamond minecart. And if you've never watched a statue tutorial of mine before, this is how it works. I do the entire front minus the head. I then extend back like this, make the entire back. I then do the sides, and then I throw the head on, and then we mire our beautiful statue. And that is exactly what we're going to do. So, treating this row of brown as our first row of the back, completely ignoring the sides here, what you now want to do is you want to add 2 layers of brown on top of your brown. So 1, 2, and then fill in those 2 rows. And now what you want to do are 3 rows of dark blue. You may see some similarities with the front here, so 1, 2, and 3. Now what you want to do is just 1 whole row of brown wool. So there we go. So what we have so far are 3 rows of brown, 3 rows of dark blue, and 1 row of brown. And now what we want to do is we want to add 5 rows of dark blue on top. And that should take us to the top of the back of the legs. And you should notice that the dark blue should line up perfectly with the dark blue on the front. If it doesn't, it means that you have either too many rows or too little. You've made a mistake. You have to evaluate where you've done that. So again, just to go through this again, because I know this is an easy mistake to make. I made this on my first go around with this statue. 3 brown, 3 blue, 1 brown, 5 blue. That should add up to 12. So pause that if necessary. Make sure you've done that right. Now we can move on to the back. So what you want to do for the first 2 rows of the back, they want to be brown. So 1 row of brown and 2 rows of brown. And then what you want to do after your 2 rows of brown, you want to do 10 rows of black. I know it's a little plain, but that's what the actual skin looks like, and the arms actually make up for it. So what you want to do is just mark out your, or whichever way around you do it, I mark them out. Mark out your 10 rows of black. Make sure it's in line with the top of the torso, then you know you've done it right. And then you can proceed to just fill in the rows. So we can quite tediously go through all of the rows until we reach the top. Flying higher and higher. And there we are. So that is the entire back. I'll give you a bit of a view of it, even though it's pretty simple. Again, 2 rows of brown, 10 rows of black, should add up to 12. And then the rest of it, that's like the whole back section that we had, the back of the legs and the back. So that's the entire back of the statue so far. Pause that if necessary. Now we can move on to the back of the arms. So the back of the arms are very similar to the front of the arms, except there's one key difference. So what you're going to want to do is you're going to want to pretty much copy the first 3 rows of the arm onto the back of the statue. So they're in the exact same position, very easy to do because like I said, you just have to copy. So you've got your first row of sandstone, 2 light grey in the middle, 2 white either side, throw on your dark grey wool, and I would suggest doing what we've just done here, the first 3 rows, on the other side as well, because we're going to have to discard a few colours to finish the rest of the arms. So do the other hand first as well. So get the light grey in there, the white and the dark grey. And what you're going to want to do after you've done both hands, you're going to want to store your light grey, dark grey and white, and bring back the glorious return of gold, orange and yellow. I like those colours better anyway. And what you're going to want to do, we'll start with the left arm, but it doesn't really matter because both arms are the same. You're going to want to do 3 rows of black, so 1, 2 and 3. And then the next row, you're going to want to do this. I was going to try and painfully talk you through what I'm about to do, but I feel as though just showing you works out so much better. So on top of your hand and then your 3 rows of black, that's what you want to have. Very similar to the belt buckle, so that's what you want to have there. And then you're going to want to, for the next row, on top of the orange, throw in gold, on top of the yellow, throw in yellow, and then you can proceed to pretty much fill the rest of the arm in with black. Hopefully doing it a little better than I am, because I'm failing miserably at controlling Steve. So there you go. That's what the back of the arm wants to look like. Pause that if necessary. I'm going to go and quickly do the other arm. So the other arm, again, 3 rows of black, 1, 2 and 3. And then here's where things get a little different. You've got your brown either side, then you've got your orange on the right, yellow on the left for the next row, gold on top of the orange, yellow on top of the yellow, and then the rest of the arm can simply be filled in with black. So you have something that looks a little like that. So that's what I'm trying to center it, there we go. So that's what the back and the arms look like. Pause that if necessary, make sure yours look like that, and I will give you a whole back view because we are finished with the back. So it's now time to move on to the side. So the first thing that you want to do is pick a side, any side, it doesn't really matter which one. Both sides turn out the same. I'm going to pick this one. And what we're going to be doing here is we're going to be playing a little game that I like to call Colour Match. Here's how you play. So you can see that we have to fill in these two middle blocks. We have to fill in the entire legs, the arms, and the top of the shoulders. And what we're going to do this is we're going to have a look on the colour that's on the left or right side of us, and we're going to copy it into these two middle blocks. So for instance, these first two rows are brown. These next, oops, hang on, dexterity failed me. These next 1, 2, 3 rows, blue. This next row, brown. And these next 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 rows, blue. Hopefully you can see how the game's played. You just copy the colour that is on the left and or right side of the statue. There is nothing easier. So that's what the leg wants to look like. It's very logical. The colours literally just, you know, follow around from each other. It makes complete sense. So you want to do the exact same thing with the arm. Remember to fill in the bottom of the hand, by the way, with the sandstone when you do that. Many a time have I forgotten to fill in this little section here. So again, we've got a row of white there, row of grey, then we've got a few rows of black, and then we've got a row of brown there, and then the rest of the arm would appear to be black. And the top of the shoulder, you only have to come 3 blocks in towards the torso to be covered by the head. Otherwise, like the head spans from here to, you know, the equivalent on this side here. So you just want to make sure that that's filled in there, otherwise the top of the shoulders won't be filled in. Again, another problem that I've had just like with the hands. And, well, I'll show you what I've just done there. I'll show you the whole side complete. There you go. You can see how the colours follow around. They all match quite nicely. And I'm going to be doing the exact same thing on the other side, probably a little faster. So this is why it doesn't matter which side you start on, because like I said, they're exactly the same. So brown, blue, brown again, blue, all the way up to the bottom of the hands. Fill in the bottom of the hands. Oops. White and dark grey. Black, yep, I was just about to say there's some brown in here somewhere, and then the rest of the arms are black. Extremely simple, nothing to it. And there we go, that's the whole other side completed as well. Absolutely nothing to the sides, I'm sure that you guys will do that just fine. So let me just get my plans up here so that I make sure that I get this next part right. So what we have here is we have almost completed statue. All we have to do is we have to put the head on the shoulders. And I'll just give you... I don't know why, I like doing like these slanty views when I get to this point. I don't know why it is. But yeah, once you're at this point, it's now time to put on the head. So what you want to do is you want to come to the top of the statue, and where the original 8 blocks of the statue are, where you did the torso, you're going to want to line another 8 sandstone on top of the original 8 blocks. So it should be positioned here. So it stops like before you get onto each side of the arm, just like that. And then what you're going to want to do is you're going to want to bring that row of sandstone that you've just done, you're going to want to bring it forward by 1 row. So coming towards you, 1 row. And then what you're going to want to do, you're going to want to do a similar thing, except this time you're just going to want to place 2 black blocks in the middle of the row that's going to be coming towards you first. And then you want to fill the rest of the row in with sandstone. And that's going to be our working row for the face of the diamond minecart. So you want to have that overhanging the front of the body by 2 blocks. It's also going to overhang the back of the body by 2 blocks as well, just because that's how Minecraft skins work. I don't know why. I prefer a head that's in line with the body, but I don't make the rules. But anyway, this is a head. So what we're going to be doing now is we're going to be working up the face. So what you want to do for the next row, you know, just imagine that this is the only row that you have. What you want to do for the next row, you just want to completely fill that in with sandstone. Like so. Then, what you want to do for the next row is you want to, it's probably going to be easier to do this from left to right. So what you want to do for the next row, from left to right, 1 sandstone, 1 white, 1 black, 2 sandstone, 1 black, 1 white, and 1 sandstone to give you something that looks like that. And you've got most of the eyes filled in there. And the next row is extremely similar, except for the next row, where you placed black, you're going to place white. So where you placed black and white on the previous row, just place white on top, and then you can proceed to fill the rest of the row in with sandstone, just like that. So that is half of the face done, and the rest of the face is actually extremely easy. So what you want to do for the next row is you just want to place a single brown wool on each end, and then you want to fill the rest of the row in with sandstone, like that. And then what you want to do for the next 3 rows is you just want them to be completely brown wool. So 1, 2, 3, and 1, 2, 3. You see, it doesn't really matter what we put there, or at least it doesn't matter what we put for the middle blocks. The top and the side blocks matter because they need to be brown, but you could put anything else there because the goggles are going to cover most of the forehead. So don't worry if it doesn't look right now, it's going to after we've filled in the rest of the shape of the head. So after you've done that, pause that if necessary, it's time to move on to the rest of the head. So what you want to do is you want to come round the back of the head here, and where you did your original 8 sandstone on top of the torso, you're just going to want to bring that original row towards the back by 1 row with the sandstone. So just add an extra row on there, coming towards the back just like that. And whilst we're on the side of the head here, we may as well do the very little sandstone that is actually on the side of the head. So you're pretty much just going to want to do this. Now I could try and explain this endlessly because it's quite difficult to explain, or I could just show you. This is what you want to do. You want to just do that. You just kind of want to add an extra row on the bottom and right hand side, pretty much just making a J. You can see what I've done there, it's pretty easy. And you want to do the same thing on the other side as well, so just on top of the row of 3 that you have here, just add an extra row of 3, and then just do 2 here as well, just next to the 2 sandstone that make up the front of the face. And that's all you have to do. That's all of the sandstone that there is on the side of the head. The rest of the head is pretty much made up of brown wool. So what you're going to want to do, where you did the extra extension with the sandstone that you just added on to the back of the head, so this row here, you're just going to, with the brown wool, you're going to keep adding rows on top of that sandstone and then the brown until it overhangs the back of the statue by 2 rows, and that should be 2. So you should just have to add 4 rows on there. Like I said, make sure it overhangs 2, and then it's time to, well, pretty much do the rest of the head. So like I said, the rest of the head is pretty much just brown wool. So I'm just going to add in the lines, because I like to make things like this. I like to make shapes and then fill the dimensions in. That's how I like to do things, I don't know why. So what I've just done there is pretty much just made the head a giant cube. Hopefully you guys can figure out how to make that. It's pretty easy enough. Should need no explanation whatsoever. And all I'm going to do now is I'm just going to fill the head in with brown. Now, I'd usually cut me doing this out because, you know, it's a bit of a waste of time, but I don't think I've cut anything else out of this tutorial so far, so I'm not going to start now. So I'm just going to be filling all of these sides of the head in with brown wool, trying not to say anything stupid whilst maintaining a decent level of babble so that the video doesn't go quiet. And it's went quiet. Really nothing to talk about. Just filling them in. This really is the worst part. I really hate filling in giant spaces with the same colour. It's really boring, but once you've done it, you'll have something that looks like this. So this is what the head should look like so far. All we've got to do now is add on the goggles and the statue will be complete. So the first thing you want to do is you want to get out a couple more colours. So you're going to want to discard any 2 colours that aren't black, so light grey and white wool can go straight out of the window. And you're going to want to get out block of diamond and cyan wool. And once you've done that, you're going to want to come to the front of the face and you're going to want to do this with the black wool. Now, this is one of the moments where it's much easier for me to just show you what to do rather than try and explain, and that is exactly what I'm doing. There we go, I've learned from experience when these moments are. So that's the outline of the goggles. pause that if necessary. That is just black wool. Hopefully that's easy enough to see. I know that it's a bit shady, but it should be obvious enough where you've got to place the blocks. And once you've done that, again, pause that if necessary, you're just going to want to add in the lenses. So the lenses are pretty much this. You just want to add a diamond block in the left and right corner there, and then you're just going to want to do cyan wool for the rest of them to give you some very pretty looking goggles. So there you go. And all we have to do now is we have to add the strap that goes around the head to hold the goggles in place. So again, pause that if necessary. I've only added in a few blocks, but you know, whatever you need. And it is now time to do the strap. So what you want to do, and you have a choice here, the strap goes around the bottom part of the end of the lens that's at the side of the head. So like this bottom part, not the top. And you can either have it come like this, like around the head like this, so it's kind of blocky, like that, or you can knock the corner block off here and here, and you can kind of give it like a rounded effect rather than a block effect. I personally prefer the rounded, but you guys do whatever you want, and you just want that to go all the way around the head. And again, either the rounded or the block effect there, knock the corner off, and there you go, connect it together there, and you will be left with a glorious diamond minecart statue. Do I want to give you yeah, I think I'm going to give you a bit of a spin. I like to give you guys a 360 view when it's completed, and it is completed. There is no more to it. I very much enjoy this statue. There we go, got the UI off. That's a perfect point. Yeah, I really like this statue. I don't really know how to say this, but it's like a simple design, but it's got really cool little details in it. Like when you look at it properly, there's not really that much to it, but then there is. I don't know. I'm quite fond of the skin. Now, I didn't really like it until I added on the goggles. I don't know what it is about the goggles, but the goggles make it, or at least it does for me. I don't know. It's a good skin, I particularly like it, and it's an easy skin as well. So there you go, there's the diamond minecart. I hope this was easy enough to follow. I hope you guys enjoyed the tutorial. Thanks for watching, and see ya. Hey, if you enjoyed this video, maybe you should think about subscribing. I have plenty more stuff like this on my channel. I have tutorials ranging from YouTube statues, skin statues, houses, pixel art, the list goes on. Thanks for watching.